and welcome to my channel. My name is Beth and I am the Bookworm trait. So I am really happy to have you here joining me for another Sims Picks My TBR. So far this has been going pretty well for me, so I am enjoying it. It is forcing me to read a little bit, I'd say a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but these are my books that I bought because they are inside my comfort zone, but it's forcing me to actually read the books that I have on my shelves rather than just reaching for my Kindle and picking up something completely random on there. Now, if you haven't watched any of my Sims Picks My TBR videos before, what I am going to do in this video is I am going to select random traits for a sim, and each of those traits has a book or less likely a challenge attached to them, and I'll read whatever comes up. Now, so far I haven't had any challenges. Fingers crossed that I will get some today, but yeah, we've got much more books on the list than we do challenges. So obviously I have to swap out my books from last month. This month I got 5 new books, so I do have more books than prompt. So the first book that I need to replace is To Best All the Boys, which was the book for Ambitious. Now I am going to replace this with a prompt rather than a book because of the books I had, I just didn't feel like any of them really fit with this specific trait. So I am going to replace this with a challenge to read a book that is 400 pages plus. Now that probably doesn't sound like a very ambitious challenge, but I am most comfortable in books between 300 and 400 pages. Anything over that I get a little bit because I know I can read on average 50 pages a day, so anything more than that I know it's going to take me longer than a week to finish the book, and then I get a bit worried. So that's our challenge for Ambitious. So the next book that I will be replacing is Orphanage of the Gods, which is a book that stood in for the family oriented trait, and I will be replacing it with A River of Royal Blood. The reason I picked this book to go in for this prompt is this follows two sisters. So this follows two sisters who are competing for the crown. I believe one of them has blood magic. I don't really know anything more, but I am really interested in this book, so I am hoping it comes up soon. I'm probably going to say that for every single book, but A Curse So Dark and Lonely also came up in my November TBR, and this was for the prompt challenge, and I'll be replacing it with The Binding because this is a book that is going to make all the other books jealous because it is so gorgeous, like stunning. Although I have put this book in to fall under a certain trait, I am probably going to try and pick this up anyway this month because I'm super intrigued about this. So this is about a boy who learns to become a bookmaker, and as a bookmaker what he does is he gets people to tell him their memories, he writes them down, and those people then forget their memories. However, he comes across a book in this book binding place which has his name on it, so he has a memory that he has forgotten. I just think this sounds amazing, so I'm probably going to pick this up this month anyway. And the final trait that I need to replace is Musa, which was Station 11 before, and I'm going to replace this with a stylus C because a Musa is all about creativity in The Sims anyway. It's about creativity and being able to create great works. I think this is going to be a 5-star book, so that is why this is going to be in the Musa trait. Again, this is probably a book I am going to pick up anyway, but it fit here, so that's where it is. And if you do want to see the entire list of books and traits, they will be below in the description. Okay, so we are going to generate our books for this month. If you want to know where I find my random trait generator, that is also going to be in the description below. So let's pop on our screen recording. Generate. Okay. So we have got Childish, I think, is the first one, Perfectionist, Squeamish, and Home Turf. Okay, so let's see what books we've got. Okay, so I have my books together and oh dear. So the first trait that came up was actually Cheerful, not Childish, and that was to read a light-hearted read. So I got a challenge. So I think light-hearted is just a book that's easy to read. you're kind of just taking it for what it is. You're not expecting any kind of deeper meaning. So sorry if the camera angle is slightly different. I just had to sort out the lighting in here because it's getting a little bit dark outside. So, Childish. So I'm not sure everyone would agree with me that this is a light-hearted read, but I'm going to go with The Cruel Prince. Now this is kind of a cheat because I am already 100 pages into it, but I need to finish this so that I can read The Wicked King, so that I can read The Queen of Nothing. So I'm officially putting it on my TBR to try and motivate me to read it. And when you see one of the books that's come up, hopefully you will be kind to me and say, yeah, we see why you did that. I'm not going to go into a synopsis of what The Cruel Prince is because this is one of the most hyped books out there on BookTube, and I feel like even if you haven't read it, you probably know what it is about. If you are interested in fae stories, dark fae stories, and you haven't heard of this, go and have a look on Goodreads. But I love this book, so I would recommend it. So the next trait that we had was Perfectionist. And the book that came up for that, Priory of the Orange Tree. I wasn't planning on reading this year because I wanted to read a lot of books this month. This book is 800, oh no. Okay, this is 804 pages. I literally was just saying how I don't really like to read anything over 400 pages, so yeah. This is gonna be hard work. I'm actually dreading this. I can't believe this came up. So the reason this was under the Perfectionist trait is because this book is supposed to be really good, and obviously a lot of work went into it. Now the Perfectionist trait in The Sims is your sim produces high quality work but it takes them a long time to do it. Well, this is going to take me a long time to read, so I feel like this fits pretty well. I have handily got this broken up into sections. This is what I would need to read a day to read this book in like 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll give it my best go. Oh god, this could be a DNF because of the size of it. I'm not gonna lie, there's a good chance that I will fall out of love with this book. I've tried to do an explanation of this book before, but I don't think I did a very good job. This book is set in two worlds, not two worlds, like two places in a world. The east and the west. There's dragons in both places. The dragons are different in both places. So the dragons are seen as gods and they are kind of water dragons, and in the other side of the world, the west, they are fire dragons and they are seen as very evil. I believe there is like a daddy dragon, a big bad daddy dragon who has been asleep for a long time but is said to now be waking up, and I think the book is probably about him and stopping him. So yeah. So the next trait that came up was squeamish, and the book that is associated to this trait is The Merciful Crow. Now the reason I've associated this book with the squeamish trait is because this is about people who deal with death, like taking away people who've died from the plague, and obviously that's a bit squeamish, so Merciful Crow. Now actually, before I started filming this video, I was thinking about this book and how I did not want it to come up because I'm really I'm not in the mood for this book this month. So The Merciful Crow should be my ideal book because I love crows. This is set in a world where people have magic which is linked to a type of bird, and the crows are seen as like the bottom tier of magic. Sorry, my cat is meowing. I don't know what she's meowing at. I think she wants to go in a room where the door's been closed. Frankie! So predictable. So the crows are seen as being at the bottom of society. I believe their magic has something to do with bones. Or yeah, I think it's bones. So they have to come and collect dead bodies, and they go and collect these bodies, and it turns out to be the prince and his bodyguard pretending to be dead, and the leader of the crows agrees to help hide the prince, and in exchange he's going to help her people, I think. I've heard mixed reviews on this one, so it'll be interesting to see where I fit, and this is quite a small book, so that'll be good for the month. And the final trait that came up was Home Turf, and for this book I had Devouring Great. Again, this is a weird one because I filmed the Bookie Charles scavenger hunt. I don't think I'm going to upload it because it was a very bad video. And I talked about this book in the video and said I kind of just forgot that I had this, and I really wanted to read it soon because I was really interested to read it at the time. It came up, which is kind of weird. So yeah, so The Devouring Grey. So I picked this to go with Home Turf because this is a story revolving around a small town in America, and it is about the descendants of the founding families of this town. So obviously they are on their home turf. In this town there is a monster who lives out in the fog, called the Grey, and the descendants of the founding families have special abilities to help them stop this monster from devouring the whole town. I'm not 100% sure if this is correct, but I believe this story follows the monster becoming kind of more active, and then the current town protectors, the teenagers of the founding families. That doesn't make any sense, but I know what I mean. I think it's down to them to kind of save the town. So it sounds really good. It's supposed to be like a cross between Riverdale and Stranger Things, and it's hopefully going to be quite dark. I feel like this is good for this time of year. It feels like it's going to be very atmospheric and dark, and yeah, I just like dark books, so I'm going to keep saying dark because hopefully it's going to be dark. So these are the books that Sims has picked for me. So we have three little ones: The Devouring Grey, The Merciful Crow, The Cruel Prince, and then The Whopper of the Priory of the Orange Tree. As I said, I would also like to read The Binding and The Stylus C this month. Not sure if that's going to happen now, but I will be making Stylus C a priority because I do want to get to this one very soon. I'm also planning to read The Poppy War with my buddy Reed at the end of the month, potentially, depending on how busy we all are over Christmas. I will be reading some romance novels, so I'm currently reading Language of Thorns. I'm really enjoying it, so I'll probably read the sequel as well, which is, I think it's called A Feast of Sparks. I haven't got any other romance books planned for this month, but I will probably pick some up anyway. So I think what I'm going to do for next month is I'm also going to apply a challenge to the aspiration, just to kind of fill this out a little bit more and make sure I am getting a few more challenges, because yeah, this is the first month that I've got a challenge, but it's very book heavy, and I'll probably get more books over Christmas, which means I'll probably have to take some of the challenges that are currently there out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like or a comment to let me know. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or if you're going to read any of these books, and if you have any suggestions for ways that I could improve this TBR, please let me know that too. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be amazing, and hopefully you will come back and see me in another video. Bye!